Hey everybody, this is Mr. Dannerium coming to you from Dannerium Culinary Labs. Bet you're waiting for me to say specifically the mixology department. Nope, today is going to be a home edition where I'm actually doing their family friend a favor. They wanted me to make them some cupcakes. So as you can see, we are making pineapple upside down cakes. That's right. We're actually going to make a large ones. So it's very simple, but I do one or two things different than most people do when they cook. I actually use real butter, not Pam, and I butter this bad boy. Then I'll take the brown sugar, sprinkle on top of the butter. Then I'll take a maraschino cherry and put it right in the middle. And then I'll take my pineapple. I'll cut a little slither off in case the pineapple is too big to fit in there. Basically, you put the pineapple around the bottom where the maraschino cherry shows through. Then you pour your cake batter in. But the magic of what I do is when I pour my cake batter in, you get 1, 2, 3 eggs, all 3 of y'all. So put some respect on my eggs. I know they're not free range and all that grass-fed stuff, but put some respect on my eggs. So anyway, you get your 3 large eggs. Instead of using oil, which is unhealthy, we use unsweetened applesauce. But even though it's unsweetened, it does have cinnamon, so it gets a little bit of sweet flavor. But the magic is you don't use milk. That's right. Most cake batters require you to use milk. We use the juice from the pineapples. And it makes it super duper moist. As I told you, when you're prepping, you also have to clean. Because we're dealing with eggs, we don't want to have any salmonella jumping off. So we clean as we cook. So as the batter is made, the eggs are taken care of and thrown away. The applesauce goes in the container. The butter gets put on the pan, and we'll throw away the rest of the butter because we're not going to contaminate it with our normal cooking butter that we keep for our personal use. We wipe everything down with disinfectant. And as you can see, the stove is preset to 350. That's been around 350 for about 10 minutes now, so it should be good and warm. And the next thing you'll see is the process starting. So due to the magic of Hollywood, we're going to... You heard the sound. That means I'm back. The magic of Hollywood. All right, everybody, there was a slight wardrobe change. If you hadn't noticed, I'm representing the Ohio State University because I always tell you guys I'm from a small town in Ohio called East Cleveland. So I got to represent my Buckeyes. Today we're having a beautiful scarlet and gray day. Where my Buckeyes at? OH! Oh, I heard an IO. Oh my God, I heard it. That's right. We're playing Rutgers today. Scarlet and gray all day, baby. So anyway, let's get started. We did a little bit of prep off camera, so this is open already.
We're going ahead and take the cake batter. What's the color scheme? There we go. And if you notice the gloves, we do practice sanitary hygiene here. All the utensils and everything we're going to cook with have been pre-cleaned. All right. Let's add a little bit of powdered sugar in this off camera.
But as I said, always add applesauce to your mix instead of oil because this is so much healthier for you. Unsweetened applesauce. Give it a little shaky shake. Dump the whole thing in there. The hole is your home. Don't you want to go home? You may not be able to see it, but I have a trash can off camera ready to go. Just step on a little thing and it boops. All right. So next we got to get our 3 eggs. That's right, all 3 of them. Put some respect on my eggs, y'all. If you're really good, you can hold it, crack it, and just... Look at that. No eggshells, one hand in the trash. But there's one thing I forgot to mention. A little bit of baking powder goes a long way. Now, this is a full spoon size. I'm going to ask that you guys use about a teaspoon because if you put too much baking powder in anything you bake, it's going to taste like crap. Now, the reason we're adding this, it adds a little extra rise. So basically, I can cheat some space and get a taller. Yes, taller. Because I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a bowler. Anyway. It just makes everything rise, and it really gives you a larger cupcake when you're making these. And you might be able to squeeze an extra 2 or 3 out for yourself at the end because we're making 6, but once this starts rising, I'm going to have extra batter, so I'm definitely going to have one for me. You know, you gotta taste it for consistency to make sure you're giving your customer a good product, right? Yeah. Okay, folks, I'm back. All the mixing's done. Baking soda is incorporated really well. Really well. So anyway, although I do clean all my stuff before I start these videos, I also just like to get in the habit of doing it again so you guys can be in the habit of watching me clean. Like, oh yeah, Mr. Dannerium did it, so I need to do it right then too. So basically, I'm just wiping this off. It's just nothing but a slightly damp napkin because you don't want too much water in here because batter and water don't mix. Plus the butter won't stick. I just want to make sure that there's no dust or any old debris from something else that was cooked in here or I didn't wash off pretty well. So the first thing we do, we take our butter. I like to use stick butter, unsalted, because nobody needs high blood pressure. Let's keep the salt down. Let's go ahead and get it in there and rub it in pretty thick. Like that. Now, the reason we're doing this is so the batter doesn't stick to the pan. Also, so the sugar doesn't stick to the pan as it caramelizes when you heat it up. And my mom used to teach me when I was a kid, and my grandma, actually both my grandmas, they do a light dusting of flour. Make sure nothing sticks to the pan. Or they use powdered sugar if they didn't have flour, just to do a light dusting on top of butter in it. We're not going to do that today. We're going to go straight butter. Because I don't want the cupcakes to taste like flour. I want it to taste like pineapple and upside down. As if upside down was a flavor. Hey, look, we still have some butter left. I might be able to make me a second batch. Let's get that off to the side. Now that's buttered pretty well. Got our napkin to wipe our hands off. Remember I said about that cross-contamination, folks? It's a bear. So, we're going to take our red Ohio State knife. Gonna cut this light brown sugar. We don't need like heavy, sweetened, artificially flavored. Just get some old school brown sugar. Forget this company. We're not sponsored by them. And what we're gonna do is lightly coat the bottom of the pan. I'll show you guys in a second after I do a couple of these. Well, it looks like I must cut it open a little bit more. The price is way too high. You need to cut it. Cut it. Cut it. Ooh, too much. There we go. Now don't freak out if you put a lot in here because it is going to get hot and melt down. But when it melts, it'll melt on top of the pineapple and it forms a nice coating. Alright, so don't get afraid. Don't be afraid. Get your hands in there and move it around a little bit. Just get an even coating on the bottom of the cupcake pan. And if you have to add some more, take some out, just pinch it. Yeah, I'm going to have to add a lot more to about 2 or 3 of these. All right. Okay, now earlier folks, I told you that sometimes the pineapples don't exactly fit in there perfectly, so you got to cut a little slither off the pineapple. Before we got started, I did test that. So we're going to take some of our pineapples. We're just going to cut a little piece out, like right there. Who doesn't like to have a little extra pineapple on the side? I know I do. Unless you have fruit allergies, then that would kind of suck for you. So basically this is what it's going to look like. You pull your little slither out. And there you have it. A cupcake almost ready. Okay, I'll do one where you guys can see me do it. You ready? So you just put it in. And where the little gap is, push it down and push it together. You never know you cut it. And here comes the fun part. You get to add the maraschino cherries. I got this from Fondue Kit, folks. It works wonderful for digging in here and getting the cherries out. Just poke it. And you stick it right in the middle of the pineapple. So here we go. Fill it up about 3/4 of the way because it needs room to rise while it's cooking. If you're not comfortable with it being 3/4, go a little bit less than that. Okay, ladies and gents, cupcake time. Now, I'm not going to show you putting this in the oven. I think you guys know how to pull the door and put it on the shelf. Little culinary message for everybody that's new to baking or not too familiar. Every time you open your oven door, the temperature drops about 50 degrees. So don't keep opening the door while you're baking. And we'll be back once this is done. Here we go, the big reveal, folks. Dun, dun, dun. Now, I know I told you guys, whenever you open the stove, you lose about 50 degrees. So we gotta let that cook for about 5 more minutes to make up for that 50 degrees. Because right now we got 4 minutes left. So let's give it an extra minute or so just to make sure everything's right. And then we'll do the toothpick test. We're not going to go full selfie cam with the selfie stick, but I just want to show you guys something. I made a mess over here, okay? This is what you can do when you work in your own home and you're making stuff for people. But something I want to teach everybody. Get yourself a 1-gallon Ziploc bag. Put your brown sugar in this bag so it doesn't get in the air. And the little critters don't sense the sugar and they won't invade your house. Those little ghost ants, sugar ants. You can have the cleanest house in the world. Leave one speck of sugar. There's a whole colony of ants in your house. Man, you do not want that. Oh, Lord. I don't know what's going on down here in Florida with these freaking ants. Either the fire ants is outside or the sugar ants is in your house. I wonder if you have sugar uncles. We got sugar daddies, we got sugar aunts, but you don't have sugar uncles. Anyway, it's time. You gotta use them. Look at them. Nice and golden. Okay, so here we go. The prick test. A few more seconds. I've taken the cupcakes out of the oven. I've actually put them in the refrigerator to chill a little bit quicker than just airing out because we'll be here forever. And do have to deliver, so, you know, got to speed up the process a little bit. So we're going to take the camera off of me and we're going to go to the cupcakes. Now, if we did this properly, look, folks, I'm going to stick this knife in and rim it all the way around. Because I pre-buttered this, this should just spin once I break it loose. Well, I wasn't talking about the whole thing, but there we go. Let's see about this one. Now, the reason I'm using plastic is so I don't scrape my metal, and then it won't rust when we're washing. Duh. Brilliant, right? Let's cut one more. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Uh-oh, my pineapple stayed in there. No worries, I can pick it up. But that's what it looks like. Oh, that looks delicious. Oh. See how squishy it is? Okay. I did make a second batch for the person I'm going to deliver to. I'm keeping these. Okay, everybody. Good evening, and I hope you learned something today at Dannerium Culinary Labs on how to make a pineapple upside down cupcake.